let me explain what bitches and F-boys have to do with your skin cancer and why remembering this is so important. Baby, write this down, okay? A PG-13 way to learn the ABCs of skin cancer, specifically melanoma. As your acne big sis, your medical SD bestie who has had family members who have had melanoma and skin cancer in my family, I cannot stress to you how important it is to know your skin, to know what spots or bumps or moles there are, and to be able to know when it's time to see a doctor about them. Now, there is a very helpful acronym, the ABCs of skin cancer, that are supposed to help the general public understand and know their skin, so that way people don't have to be dermatologists or medical professionals or estheticians or skincare fanatics to be able to understand the warning signs of melanoma. And while this is fantastic to have the ABCs of skin cancer, a lot of people still find those hard to remember. For example, if I said ABCDEFG of skin cancer, do you know what all of these mean? Well, I have a way to remember this, and let me tell you, when I was studying, and as I still continue to study, this is how I remember my ABCDEFGs of melanoma, and I make it stick so that I can actually remember and recall these things. There is scientific data showing that the crazier or the wackier or like the more inappropriate certain acronyms or mnemonics are, the more likely we are to remember them. And again, this is going to be a PG-13 one, but if you'd like to learn, understand, and remember the ABCDEFGs of skin cancer, that's what we're gonna be talking about today. I'm procrastinating, I just need to get to the point. And if you can remember the ABCDEFGs already, fantastic. Absolute skintellectual level 1000. Those are specifically the asymmetry of the border, the color, the diameter, whether or not it's evolving, how firm it is, and whether or not it's growing. And let me tell ya, that can be a lot to remember. Yes, those are words, they fall into the ABCDEFGs, but they're kind of still hard to remember in order, right? Well, that is where this PG-13 mnemonic comes in. If you want to remember your ABCDEFGs of melanoma, I want you to remember that all bitches can damage entitled boys gladly. Yep, I said that. All bitches can damage entitled boys gladly. Think about it. All of the can absolutely emotionally damage all of the entitled boys, and they do it with a smile on their faces. Now you're probably like, Cassandra, what are you talking about? I know. Let me just tell you, this is how I got through like 2 a.m. study sessions, okay? All can damage entitled boys gladly. Think about all those if you put them in a room and you cut that room in two. Do all of the look the same? Do they have the same eye color? Do they have the same hair texture? Do they have the same skin tone, the same style? Are they wearing the same thing? Absolutely not. Everybody looks different, right? All of the people in the room look different, not symmetrical, right? And that's how we remember that A stands for asymmetry. All of the do not look the same. That means that they are not the same on both sides. Just the way that spot or that mole, if it is asymmetrical, basically if it does not all look the same, there might be something wrong with it and you might want to get that checked out for melanoma and skin cancer. Asymmetry literally stands for A or not, symmetry or symmetrical. So if it's not symmetrical, basically if you cut it down the middle, does it look exactly the same on both sides? If the answer is no, that's concerning. If the answer is yes, it's not as alarming. Just the way all the people in that room are not going to look the same if you cut that crowd in half. There's going to be differences and unique things about the people on both sides. Now what about B for which, by the way, is not like an insult. Like if I call you a oh my god, that means I love you. Are often women and men and non-binary friends who stand up for themselves, right? Sometimes if you say what you need or you say, hey, I'm not gonna tolerate that, someone looks at you and says, what a kind of rude, but it happens, right? Well, listen, have boundaries, okay? They're gonna tell you what is and isn't okay. And some people may call them a because they're standing up for who they are or what they believe in. But at the end of the day, they're just setting up boundaries. They have these borders about what is and isn't acceptable for them. So if people wanna call them fine, take it as a compliment, okay? Well, think about the B of our skin cancer melanomas. B stands for border, or basically that boundary, right? Is the border of that lesion uneven? Just the way that has boundaries, are those boundaries super clear, smooth, and defined, or are they kind of all over the place and there's a couple of little gaps here and there? For example, the bitch is a badass, she doesn't let people step on her, she has healthy relationships, but when it comes to that one family member who's always trying to get favors from her and borrow money and ask for her time and really disrespects her. She just kind of falters on those boundaries that she is so clear about everywhere else. That's how you know that boundary or that border is not intact. Similar with a skin lesion. If that boundary or that border is blurred, if there's little spots that emerge from one side of it, or if that boundary and border isn't clear, that could be a warning sign of skin cancer and melanoma. So all have asymmetrical borders or boundaries, okay? Now what about C? All can do what? Well, I want you to think of a can. Well, what do you picture? Paint cans, soup cans, soda cans. Cans come in all sorts of colors, right? Yeah, look at my soda. I literally have a rainbow shelf that I keep my sodas on. This is actually sparkling water, but we're gonna call it soda, okay? Just the way this can is colorful, all can enjoy and appreciate color, and C stands for color in those skin lesions. This is how I remember things, okay? Cans come in lots of colors. You can think of the word can in literally every single color under the sun, and you can absolutely listen to this, learn this, and remember this correctly. So all can, and you can too, babes. And we're talking about that lesion being all sorts of different colors, just the way our soda cans can be. Think about the moles, the spots, the lesions on our body. Some of them look tan, some are brown or black, or even have like these different color variations in them. Heck, some of them even look slightly ironish, like slightly red. If that mole is different colors, that could be a warning sign, so you want to get that checked out. Just the way your soda cans can be all sorts of different colors. Now, all can do what? Oh, they can destroy. That's right, these are powerful, okay? And I want you to think about destroying things. Oh, bear with me, I promise you're gonna remember this. What destroys things? A lot, like nuclear bombs can destroy things, all right? Emotionally, a lot of things can destroy me, okay? But so can pencils. If someone comes at you with a pencil and starts stabbing you, they could destroy you, okay? Or at least they could destroy a balloon, right? I want you to think of someone coming and destroying a balloon with a pencil. That causes a lot of damage to the balloon or like human flesh, right? Right. Well, think about the size of a pencil, like the actual diameter of a pencil, right? Think of an eraser, right? That's not like a huge weapon, but that pencil can do a lot of damage even with the diameter of that pencil, that eraser. Well, that's what I want you to remember. The diameter can do damage. That tiny pencil diameter can do a lot of damage to that balloon or to your body if someone's coming after you with a pencil because like they're really angry or something. I hope you're not angering people to the point that they want to stab you with pencils. And if you have, I am so sorry. But D stands for diameter. Specifically, is the diameter of that mole, that spot, that lesion, is it larger than the back of a pencil? The size of a mole or a spot on the skin can be indicative of whether or not it's dangerous. And again, if it's smaller than the diameter of a pencil, it's probably on the safer side, whereas if it's larger, you certainly want to make sure that you're getting that checked out. So just the way the diameter of a pencil can do a lot of damage, again, these are out here and they can do a lot of damage, the diameter of a pencil or pencil eraser is what you should be looking for in your moles, spots, or lesions. And remind me, what can these damage again? Entitled voice. That's right, entitlement. Think about people who are entitled. Were they born that way? No, they kind of grew up. They kind of evolved into being entitled. You know, we are constantly growing. The person you are today is not the same person you were a week ago, a month ago, or even a year ago. Think about how much you've changed. Think about how much you've progressed. Am I allowed to say that I am so proud of you? Be proud of yourself. But also think about how you have evolved and how other people evolve too. Some people can evolve for better, they can grow, they can become empowered and inspired, and other people can grow up to be entitled. I'm sure we all know one, right? If you grow up to be an entitled boy, that's probably not a good thing, but sometimes our moles or our lesions, they can evolve into these entitled little spots on our skin that think it's okay to take up residency here without paying the rent. That's right, we're not necessarily born entitled, but we can evolve and grow to be entitled. And if that mole is evolving, if it's changing, if it's updating itself, you want to make sure to get that checked out. And you remember that if that mole is becoming entitled, we're gonna have to do something about it. Specifically, those are gonna do something about it. Because again, they don't just damage entitled people, they damage entitled F-boys. And we gotta talk about that. See, this is where most people stop. Most people think of the A, B, C, D, E's of skin cancer, and yes, those are very, very essential. But there are also the F's and G's of skin cancer that a lot of people don't talk about, the firmness and the growth. Well, babe, we're gonna talk about him here. And is this PG-13? It absolutely is. I warned you, parental explicit advisory. I told you so, okay? Okay, you know what you're getting yourself into. Are you subscribed? Is this what you subscribed for? I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but this is how I remember things, okay? All damage entitled boys gladly, right? Tell me about F-boys. Actually, don't tell me. In dermatology, the F stands for firm, as in like, is the lesion firm? You know, if the mole, like the one I have here, is squishy, that's a good thing. But if it's firm, if it feels like a rock, that is not good. And just think about F-boys. I actually don't know any F-boys, which is really great, but I'm also on the rainbow train. You know, I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead. F stands for firm, okay? If that mole is not squishy, that's a problem, okay? That's how you know you got a boy growing on your skin. And how can these damage the entitled boys? Gladly. That's right, these do it with a smile on their face. They're like, come here, F-boy, you've got nothing on me. And what happens when we're glad? Oh, we're smiling. That smile grows right across our face, doesn't it? That's right, just the way a smile can grow across your face when you're really glad, if that mole, that lesion, that spot on the skin is growing, you're gonna wanna get it checked out ASAP. Similar to E, which is that spot being entitled enough to evolve, part of evolution can be growth. So if that mole is growing larger, growing taller, or even growing firmer, that is a problem. You wanna make sure that you have a doctor, a dermatologist, or an expert who can actually diagnose and treat or remove skin cancer. Take a look at that and make sure that it's nothing suspicious. And for dermatologists or doctors, they are looking at these moles, these lesions, these skin spots all the time, and they know what to look for under their dermatoscope. And there's even AI now that can look at the skin and scan spots and lesions and moles for skin cancer and melanoma and literally save lives. And when it comes to the ABCDEFGs of skin cancer, I know I had to create these up little stories in my head to remember this, but this stuff is life-saving. If you're a hairdresser and you see a lesion on somebody's skin or scalp or the backs of their ears or something that resembles the ABCDEFGs of melanoma, you can tell them so that they can go make an appointment with their doctor. If you're going to the pool or the beach with your friends or family members and you notice that your cousin now has a weird spot on like the lower side of her back that you haven't seen before, you can tell her about that and she can go get it checked out. If you're looking at your own body, embracing and enjoying your own skin, and you see a spot in the mirror that just looks a little bit different or it's kind of a weird color, something that it wasn't before, you can take that to a medical professional who can treat and diagnose these things and get it checked out. And hopefully it's absolutely nothing. Quite often it is, but in that rare case that it's not, it's better to have an expert look at it and to catch it early, because melanoma can spread to the rest of the body. It can metastasize and turn itself into other things, and your skin is beautiful and amazing, but every single time we get a sunburn, every time we get sun damage, that can accumulate. Meaning that the sun's rays, while they are wonderful and great to enjoy responsibly, they can actually damage the DNA in our skin cells. They can reproduce incorrectly and they can spread, again, beyond skin cancer and to the rest of the body. Now, thankfully, there are certain treatments out there, specifically Mohs surgery, which literally cuts skin cancer out layer by layer until it's all gone. And there are treatments. If you've had a skin cancer scare or diagnosis or gone through skin cancer removal, I would love to hear your story. I have helped other people who have gone through this and helped them care for their wounds and their scars that are left behind by the removal of some of these lesions. Let me tell you, it is better to catch it early, and it's better to remember that all can destroy entitled boys gladly than to try to think of the ABCDEFGs and constantly feel overwhelmed or forget, because it is a lot of information. Now, you might have to watch this back. I want you to promise me something, babes. I want you to commit this to memory. I want you to remember that all can destroy entitled boys gladly. And I want you to know why that is so important and why these crazy, quirky little things can make it easier for us to remember and therefore empower ourselves and others to literally save lives. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and while you know that prevention with things like sunscreen and hats and enjoying time in the shade is always better than treatment, making sure that you catch that mole, that lesion, that skin cancer or melanoma from growing is part of being aware of what's happening with our bodies, of loving and embracing our skin, and catching things early before they become a problem. So you can say, hey, I was that who demanded to have a meeting with my dermatologist because I found this spot, and I am so glad that I set a boundary and I booked that appointment, because yes, I did. I hope this helps. I know it's a little weird, but listen, just the way my AHA BHA analogy got me to remember what is water soluble versus oil soluble, this is what helps me with the ABCDEFGs of melanoma and skin cancer diagnoses, okay? If you don't know the AHA BHA one that I use and how that sticks in my brain, that is another Pg-13 skincare memory hack from your acne big sis Cass. I will leave that video right here for you if you would like to see it, as well as some helpful links and resources down below if you actually want to look at a lot of these lesions up close and see what the ABCDEFGs actually look like. But always remember to stay hydrated both orally and topically, because yes, you can. Look at all those colors you could sip that hydration out of. Always reapply that SPF and always be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, I hope this helped, and I cannot wait to hear what you have to say in the comments and in this next AHA BHA video. Love you guys. Bye.